Hello everyone, welcome to the Joking Dolphin Gaming Pod. I'm Mark and as always joined by Matthew.
Hello.
And Nathan.
Hey up.
How are we doing?
Yeah, really good.
Very good. I'm back. Hello.
You're back.
It was so lonely without you, Matt.
Oh, three whole weeks away.
What do you mean lonely? I was here.
Sorry.
You forget about me. Lonely.
I thought you were listening.
Right,
Mark.
I see.
I'll have you on mute.
Right, well, the big question, Matt. How was the subway?
Quite enjoyable, actually. I tried
Quite
it once.
enjoyable.
Yeah, I tried it once. I got a 6-inch.
Tuna mayo?
No. 6-inch peri-peri chicken.
Wow.
On garlic bread. It was quite nice, actually.
Oh.
I took plenty of photos of it. It's like this grandeur subway underneath this massive chimney.
What was it above it? Was it a big obelisk? That's what I thought it was.
Yeah, and people praying
Was it
outside.
just a long...
Oh!
I mean, I suppose it could have been a place of prayer to your cheese and toasted. I don't know really. I wasn't paying too much attention to some of it. I'll be honest. When I first listened to the podcast, when you talked about it, I was like, "What Subway? What are they talking about?" And then it dawned on me that I was like, "Oh wait, we took a photo."
I was going to say, did you not notice it?
Well, obviously I noticed
like
it, but I didn't like assume much of it. Like, oh, Subway's like this here.
I mean, anything to step
They're
up to a
not.
petrol
That's
station like what we've got, so...
That's not the norm of their Subways. But swiftly moving.
Okay, shall we move on to the news then?
Yep, let's do it.
Yep. Right, shall we kick off with the clear, obvious news again that we suspected were probably going to happen?
That's it.
Since
Get ready for your bi-weekly
I
Activision
think you
update.
jinxed it, to be honest.
Yeah. So, the European Commission has announced their verdict on the whole Activision Microsoft deal thing.
Was it?
And they've approved it.
Ooh.
Yes. So this is taken from the European Commission website. It says, the Commission's in-depth market investigation indicated that Microsoft would not be able to harm rival consoles and rival multi-game subscription services. At the same time, it confirmed that Microsoft could harm competition in the distribution of games via cloud game and streaming services, and that its position in the market for PC operating systems would be strengthened. So I won't read all of it, because you can quite clearly just go onto the website and read it. It's fairly lengthy. And they do go into the reasonings for each part of this. But the main findings from the investigation were this. This is just the headlines. So they found, point 1, Microsoft would have no incentive to refuse to distribute Activision's games to Sony. Point 2, even if Microsoft did decide to withdraw Activision's games from the PlayStation, this would not significantly harm competition in the consoles market. 3, even without this transaction, Activision would not have made its games available for multi-game subscription services, as this would cannibalise sales for individual games. 4, the acquisition would harm competition in the distribution of PC and console games via cloud game and streaming services. And 5, if Microsoft made Activision's games exclusive to its own cloud game streaming service, Microsoft would also strengthen the position of Windows in the market for PC operating systems. So they actually kind of agree in terms of the cloud gaming issue that that Britain had, but they seem to be willing to accept proposed remedies for that.
Okay.
Which is this: to address the competition concerns identified by the Commission in the market for the distribution of PC and console games via cloud game and streaming services, Microsoft offered the following comprehensive licensing commitments with a 10-year duration. A free license to consumers in the EEA that would allow them to stream via any cloud game streaming services of their choice all current and future Activision Blizzard PC and console games for which they have a license. And also a corresponding free license to cloud game streaming service providers to allow EEA-based gamers to stream any Activision Blizzard's PC and consoles games. So the plot thickens in all of this, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me, I have to say.
No,
I thought they were going to approve this.
Yeah, it seems they've not really piggybacked off what the CMA pushed in on the cloud side.
Hmm. They seem more happy with Microsoft's, I suppose, way of getting around the cloud stuff than the UK was. Seemed to be, from what I was listening to, seems to be the main sticking point for the UK's decision. It was all around cloud gaming and not sort of competitors-wise. I feel like it's a bit tricky when it comes to the cloud stuff, though, because obviously Microsoft they have the biggest market share when it comes to the cloud stuff. There's no real competitor as such when it comes to that, and like Google fell off. I know Amazon's got their whole Luna stuff, but how much of a share they can really build, or any sort of competitor coming in, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think Luna will be. Well, I don't think Luna's got much of a chance. I mean, the infrastructure's there with AWS, obviously. But they've not really got the catalogue of games, so I think they'll probably go the same way as Stadia did, just because they're not going to have them AAA titles that you come to expect. But one thing that I found funny about this is the MPs have started grilling the CMA to explain why they've got a different decision to the European Commission.
Well, why not? They're allowed to make that decision. That's why they exist.
Well, that's it.
So they've clearly investigated it and made that decision.
Yeah. I mean, they could read the same articles that we've read in terms of why they've made that decision.
Yeah. It's the thing is about these is both these decisions is that they actually kind of agree with each other. It's just the EU is just willing to just accept these extra remedies. Pretty much, whereas the UK just isn't. So, no. It's where the cookie crumbles, isn't it?
Yeah.
But do you think they'll end up reversing the decision in the UK?
I do. I just
part of me thinks so.
I feel like there's going to be enough pressure, especially if it comes down that if the US also then
agree to it. Yeah.
Agree it, then it's going to be like, well, you're the odd one out. What are you what are you doing? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I can see why all the pressures come from like the MPs. I saw a lot of the articles from Mr. Bobby himself saying, it's a bad day in the UK and stuff and all that kind of stuff.
I
think he can shut his mouth.
I think it's mainly that comment about the UK being closed for business, and the MPs probably didn't like that, obviously. Them being...
Yeah, but that's why I said it.
Yeah.
To rile them.
It's working, isn't it?
To be fair, Britain's been closed for business over the last few years, so I don't think it's entirely wrong.
Excellent point.
Yes. It's one of those things where the worst person you know has made a good point.
But actually, since you've not been here, we've not really got your opinion on this. Because they kind of agreed with the ruling that the UK made. I don't know whether he's changed his opinion now. But what was your thoughts about
that? I mean, I can see it from the point of view of cloud gaming. I think it's clear that Microsoft are pretty much like the biggest players in that market. And I think getting that sort of deal coming through, whether they can make, the same arrangements for, with like Amazon or whoever else, Steam, obviously, Valve have their own sort of cloud market. Whether there be certain agreements with them as well, I can definitely see the dangers in those terms of like keeping those games away from, like, even Epic, they've got their own game stores and such. So I can see it from that point of view. It would be pretty dangerous, and would probably agree from those terms with what the CMA ruled. So to be fair, it's an interesting point that I don't think anyone's really brought up ever since this the news broke out that Microsoft was buying them. No one thought about the PC side of it. It was all Sony, them arguing over Call of Duty and everyone that seems to be going in favour for this deal of like ignored Sony, like shut up. But then they've gone, but the PC market, that's important as well. No one's thought about that. So, yeah, it's a tough one. I think it's a tough one, but I can definitely say from a PC cloud point of view that you don't want to let Microsoft kind of rule over there, really.
The question for me, though, is cloud gaming actually going to become a thing? Like a big thing? Just in my head, I don't see it as... I have no interest in cloud gaming. I don't care about its future. I will never go down that route. Unless gaming is forced to be cloud gaming for whatever reason.
I think as I think Nathan mentioned previously, I don't think the infrastructure is there yet for proper cloud gaming.
But my point is, even if it did, it still wouldn't interest me as a thing.
Yeah, but that's us as a demographic. But I think that in 10 years' time, it might be
I think
different.
You have to think of like the casual market, like people on mobiles and stuff. Like it'll all come to mobiles, and then it'll be,
I would never play games on mobiles. This is kind of my point. You're
well,
taking away.
I think the core market would never be interested in this. Just how like VR's just never caught on with the core market, but the casual side of it is never thought about. And like once cloud gaming becomes realistic, where you can properly game on the go anywhere, no lag whatsoever, I think it will be massive, and then it will be a turning point for Microsoft. Like if they have that lead, then who else can play with them, sort of thing.
Dunno. This doesn't seem like a thing for me. I literally have no interest in cloud gaming at all.
Yeah,
I think fair.
In the future, like probably our children, they'll be the ones to target this at, because if you're a parent, you'll be saying, right, why spend £500 on a console when I can sign up for this cloud alternative and it can game on the iPad, whatever, and pay £10 a month, for example, and sign up to that subscription model and not have to pay that initial outlay and then however much for each game. I just think eventually it will get to a point where most people will sign up for a service and it'll be just like Netflix. You'll put your telly on, you'll have your Fire Stick or Google Chromecast plugged in, and you'll stream games from a server farm, and it'll be as easy as flicking through games, selecting what you want to play. It'll pop up on screen, there'll be no latency, and you'll just game. Yeah, I've been thinking about it. It's probably not for us, because we're of the generation of physical content, but for the next generation, I think that's where it's going to come into its own.
Two of us are nice.
Look, I like my physical stuff as well.
Yeah, saying that, you have got a pile of collectibles behind you, so.
Yeah. Definitely one I'll be showing off a little bit later.
But late breaking news is that the deal has also been approved by Chinese regulators.
Yeah, I saw that earlier. So I think that's 27 countries out of 37 now that's approved it.
Who's yet to announce the decision? I've not heard from Japan.
I think Japan approved it.
Did they?
Believe it or not.
Okay.
But that might be a case of Xbox doesn't really have a great market there anyway.
Yeah, they probably don't care. They're just like, yeah,
exactly.
Sure. We're all about our Nintendo. So.
But obviously America's the big one, isn't it?
Well, that'll be the biggest one. If they get through there, then I think there will be massive pressure for UK to sort of re-review.
But aren't they? There are concerns about America, though, isn't there? That it might be rejected. But... Yeah,
well, Microsoft have had their fights in courts before, haven't they, with the whole being unfair against competitions and stuff. I think they lost one, didn't they? They lost a lawsuit where they were trying to acquisition something. I forgot what it was. It was like years ago, and the courts ruled against them, saying they'd be too powerful. So
We'll see.
suppose
Definitely
we'll see.
interested now.
I don't know when that decision is supposed to be made, though.
I wouldn't have thought it'd be too long now.
Well, they do seem to be coming thick and fast now, these decisions, so...
Yeah, they're flying through.
Well, I think we mentioned in the last pod that they've only got a certain amount of time to get the deal finalised, otherwise they'd need to pay a £3 billion fee to push it along, or renegotiate the fee, potentially.
See if we can get it down a bit. We see Warzone 2 is not doing very well. We'll knock off about 10 billion there.
Well, Cosby doing well. Well, obviously not, maybe not Warzone, but Modern Warfare 2 has been doing fantastically for him.
Right, shall we move on to PlayStation then?
Yeah, go on then.
So they've announced they're going to have a showcase.
Showcase.
This coming Wednesday, the 24th of May.
Ooh.
So tomorrow, when this pod comes out.
Yeah. 8 o'clock in the evening, I think, isn't it?
9 p.m.
Is it 9 p.m.?
Ah.
Yes. And 1 p.m. Pacific time.
Yeah, don't care about that.
Okay, steady on. And that it will last about an hour.
Oof.
So, fairly decent length.
Yeah.
But
I'm
the
just
rumour-
that. Oh, go.
Now, just going, the rumour mill has been circulated
Of course it is.
That's it as.
as to what is going to be shown off. There's talk of Konami stuff.
Yeah. Something that you guys will be interested in.
Give me a new
remake?
Castlevania. That's all I care about.
Well, you never know. But there's rumours of a remake of Metal Gear Solid 3. Which would be interesting. Don't you think?
Interesting that they're doing 3 for this one. I know it's arguably 3 is probably the best in the series, you could say. I was never know why they don't touch some like the old Nintendo ones, like the original Metal Gear. I'd love to see something like that in 3D, like reimagine that.
Yeah, but when you haven't got Kojima at the helm,
They're not going to have Kojima at the helm ever again, unless they bring him on like a
no, but it's a remake.
consultory.
No, but you're just remaking the game that already exists. With that, you would have to produce an entire new game.
Yeah, and then they could bounce a whole new series off of it if they want to.
Yeah, but the point is without Kojima, it's not going to be the same, is it? You see, you're not going to have that in-depth lore or you know that, are you? I think you need him on board for that stuff.
Well, that's why we got Metal Gear Survive, so.
Well,
Unfortunately,
say
had the
no
pleasure
more.
of playing that, so.
Was that the game that came out on PSP? That one?
No, that was the game that
Metal
came
Gear
out
Acid.
after
That's what we're called.
Metal Gear Solid 5.
Or do you mean Peace Walker?
No, Metal Gear Survive. Do you know the one that was meant to be like a zombie take on
No,
Metal Gear?
I'm talking about what Nathan was on about.
Oh, PSP. Could be a
Peace
few.
Walker.
Acid. There was
Acid was...
Acid was like the
peculiar.
card game.
Yeah. I had that.
Yeah.
What if that?
There was Peace Walker, but I feel like there was something else beforehand as well.
There's Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops. Was that it?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah, I never got to play those. I did play the HD remaster of Peace Walker. Quite enjoyable actually on the Xbox.
Yeah, I think I played that when it got released on PS something, whatever it was. I don't know. I can't remember. I can't remember what it
3.
was. Yeah, probably. Is there anything
Anyway.
in particular you'd like to see?
What is this, Konami now, or is it just in general?
Oh, just PlayStation in general.
Just in general.
I think it's probably inevitable that we are going to get some Spider-Man 2 stuff because it is it's going to come out soon, isn't it? So I think they're going to show us something. I'm excited for that.
I would like to see something from Spider-Man 2.
Maybe a bit more about Wolverine.
I
don't know
it might
about
be
that.
Still a little too early for Wolverine.
I don't see the point in advertising that before Spider-Man.
Mm.
I mean, you could do it at the same time, but I don't know if they'd have any gameplay to show.
Oh, I wouldn't want to see it. I don't see the point of showing that off yet. Let's just have one Marvel thing at a time, shall we?
Well, I mean, when we had years of like Avengers and Guardians going on at the same time. What else? I'm trying to think of stuff that have been heard rumoured.
There has been murmurs about a PS5 Pro for next year. To be honest, personally, I don't see why they need it, but...
And just after people have just been able to get PS5s now.
Yeah, got to bring out the next thing to scalp.
It's been 3 years though, hasn't it?
Yeah, but
it's probably about time for at least some sort of news, maybe.
Yeah, but only recently it's been announced that scalping is no longer a problem. So I don't see the point.
Oh, it's still a problem.
It's not the problem it was, though, is it?
No, I know what you mean.
I mean, I know what I want to see. Ghost of Tsushima sequel.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Job Simulator 2 then.
I'll take that as well. Yeah.
I still need to get my hands on that game. Still outside my
Job
price
Simulator
range, that one. No, sorry, Ghost of Tsushima. Oh. Well, probably end Job Simulator. But...
Which one would you want? Would you want the director's cut for PS5?
Oh yeah. I'm not going to mess around with like missing content.
Do all that PS4 crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to get onto that Legends mode.
That'd
be good laugh, that.
We say that, we're never going to get our FIFA.
Well, yeah,
do you think they would somehow show off anything from Rockstar?
No.
I think they'd be saving that for Summer Games Fest if they were going to show us something.
Oh, it'll be the biggest exclusive that Jeff Keighley will absolutely want for himself.
No, this is the thing. I don't think they get involved in any other presentations. They just do things themselves.
True.
They'll just throw out a tease.
I think they used to do PlayStation stuff, because I remember GTA 4 was announced via a PlayStation event, I think. It was at E3. I think. I feel like I recall it.
I thought it just had a trailer. I remember that trailer, in fact.
I thought it was shown at E3. I could be wrong. I could very well be wrong. My memory's...
Because I remember
I
remember the website having a clock on it, and then he just showed it.
No, you could be right.
But no, I wouldn't expect that. Unless we're getting a new GTA 5 version. Which, let's be honest, wouldn't shock me.
Strange things have happened.
We've already got a PS5 version of GTA 5. Why do we need them?
Like,
just try to think what I'd potentially want to see from PSVR 2. Because I do think they need another killer app, because they have price dropped it recently. So, yeah, they could do with giving us something good. Maybe GTA 5 VR? No.
well,
that would make me so nauseous. Could you imagine doing it in like multiplayer and you can like orbital laser and you're just flying through the air spinning?
Ragdolls. Yeah.
Do you know what would be weird? Playing the chop scene in VR.
I think playing any scene in VR would be a bit weird when it comes to GTA.
Any dormant PlayStation franchises you like to see make a comeback?
Resistance. I want that back.
You love your Resistance, don't you?
I do. I just love the premise of it. And the time period as well. Just the Cold War. This asteroid crashes into Russia. These aliens come out and start assimilating the Russians, and then the war begins.
I'll tell you what I like to see.
That was a bit graphic.
Guerrilla to make Killzone.
Then you go back to Killzone.
Take a break from Horizon. Make Killzone.
Aren't they reportedly working on that multiplayer for Horizon? Sort of heard.
I believe so. Split your team. Oh.
Well, they've got a big enough team.
I really liked Killzone.
I didn't mind it.
I never played the last one they made, and it was enjoyable for what it was.
Because that was a launch for the PS4, wasn't it?
Yeah, Shadowfall, wasn't it?
So, it's been a bit of time now, hasn't it?
10 years, nearly.
Let's get a new one. And plus, with the way the Microsoft deal's going to go, need to get onto that first-person shooter, maybe?
Nah.
Saying.
They'll refuse.
Well, yeah.
What about the Gears teasers, though? They were mentioned earlier.
I think that's probably a reference to Metal Gear.
Do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not Gears of War, sadly.
Never thought about that, actually. Captain's seen all the Gear stuff. That makes a lot more sense. You know what? I would like to see some sort of new news on any of the Yakuza games. Sorry, Like a Dragon games.
Oh,
The ones that got
do we need more of them at the moment?
I would. I'd like
they
to
come
see,
like buses.
I don't.
True.
I've got enough to get through.
Yeah, it's just like... I mean, they're great. Can't argue it. But let's...
Well,
we need a
at
bit of a
least
break.
maybe a little bit on the spin-off they should have. What was it? Like a Dragon, the man who erased his name. Maybe like get a bit of information, like story-wise, what's going on there, sort of thing. But yes, we're probably talking about too much Yakuza. My mind's gone completely blank. I don't know what else to think, what I'd want to see.
Well, apparently there's going to be first party, and third party stuff shown as well. I think they said new first party stuff.
I hope so.
As according to their blog post, I think. So that's curious. Well, that could be. Well, I guess we'll find out on Wednesday.
Yeah, it should be
I'm
interesting.
sure we will. Well, going from PlayStation, should we talk about something that got teased, leaked, announced, and then more leaked straight afterwards?
Yeah, go on, man.
Sure.
Because, we love our leagues. So, Mr. Ed Boon of
That guy.
fighting game legacy probably now, and not legacy, fame I should probably use. Throwed out a teaser on Twitter that seemed very MK related, showing a little clock dial, seeing the seconds dial from 9. Well, it went from 9, 10, 11, funnily skipped 12, and went
What could
straight
that
to
possibly
1.
mean?
That seemed a bit of a tease, considering we're all waiting for MK12. And unfortunately, all the news got leaked before the official announcement, which
As it always does.
is as it always does. So we got a bit of eventually we got a cinematic trailer for the new Mortal Kombat.
Did you see that?
It looks bloody
mad.
great. Pun
The
intended.
the gore is going to be out of this world.
Yeah, like squashed heads.
A lot of squashed
Like,
heads,
squashed like
heads
melons.
ripped out of
Yeah.
bodies. It was pretty gruesome. I think if I'm right, the character that you hear the voiceover of is Liu Kang. I think.
I believe so. Yes.
Basically talking about him bringing sort of a new piece to this rebuilt world that he's done. I'm not hugely familiar with the new MK story. I know it got rebooted at some point, and now it's been rebooted again.
Yeah. It's the second gritty reboot.
Yeah.
So PS3, wasn't it? It became
Yeah,
just
so
Mortal Kombat.
yeah, it was just Mortal Kombat. We were expecting Mortal Kombat 9, and they just called it Mortal Kombat
But then they went to
then we
Mortal Kombat X.
X.
Or 10. And
now
now
it's
then
5.
11. Now we're back to
And
1.
yeah, I mean, they revealed it's now Mortal Kombat 1 again.
It seems like they've taken Xbox's way of naming consoles and just put it into games.
Yeah. So, I mean, interestingly, the trailer seemed to make note of a lot of being able to partner up with characters, maybe with some potential tag team fighting. Might be a first for Mortal Kombat, or maybe potential assisting. I wasn't too sure.
We saw that with Sub-Zero and Scorpion, didn't we? That looked pretty cool.
Yeah, you saw a lot of people getting together. Like I think it was Raiden and
My boy.
the guy with the scissor hat thing. I forget his name.
Odd job.
Odd job. It's close enough as this. There's also, I think, Katana and Melina seem to be a togetherness as well. So they also got announced that it will be coming out in September the 19th.
Yeah.
So that's coming to pretty much all current gen consoles, Nintendo Switch, PC as well. And that was all cool.
Well,
and then we
just say there was a pre-order bonus as well.
Oh, sorry, yeah, pre-order bonus. You get Shang
Tsung.
Yeah, he's usually the main antagonist of the series. Although I feel like he's related to Liu Kang in some way. I feel like I'm probably wrong. Again, I don't follow the MK universe, unfortunately. But then that wasn't the last leaks that came from those announcements. Basically, all the DLC currently planned for the game got accidentally revealed by product listing on Amazon Italy, of all places.
Accidentally?
Yeah.
Purposely?
So, well, there's maybe that as well. So, the DLC files that we're expecting is, at least from the MK side of stuff, we've got Quan Chi and Irmak and Takada. Those are the, I suppose, MK regulars that were announced for DLC. As has been since, I think, MK9 or just more combat. We're also getting some guest characters from different IPs that Warner Bros. Typically owns. I'm sure one of them that I know Nathan will probably love, because I'm sure he's watched the series or he's mentioned he's seen the series. Homelander from The Boys is coming.
Yes. Oh, it's going to be brutal. I'm just going to laser people in the face.
I still need to watch that.
It's really
I
good,
need to watch it. I keep on hearing good things about it. And it is like, it's superheroes, but if it was like in a more combat universe, basically, it's just brutal, gory. It's like if Superman was just given the red kryptonite permanently.
Yeah, pretty much.
Another character from the DC universe that's coming is Peacemaker. So Mr. John Cena might be making his...
you can't see me because your eyes have been taken out.
That'd be quite interesting. The last one that they mentioned that I'm actually quite interested in, because I would like to watch this series on Amazon, that's on Amazon as well. And it's also quite in the same ilk as The Boys. It's a superhero show that's very brutal, but it's animated style. Is Omni-Man from the Invincible, sorry. And I've seen clips of that animated show, and it could make, in terms of gore, it could make, MK run for his money in terms of like matching that style of just absolute brutality. Heads get squashed, there's a lot of blood, there's a lot of murder. So perfect for the MK universe, really.
They know what they're doing.
Oh, they know. They definitely know. I do hope he's also still voiced by, oh no, I forgot the actor's name. Plays J. Jameson in the Spider-Man films.
Oh, I know what you're about.
His name escapes me, damn it.
Yeah, it's escaped me, I know. I know you're on about that.
He's in he plays,
Frank Fontaine.
No. No, Omni-Man. Voice of Omni-Man in it's
J.K. Simmons.
That's it, J.K. Simmons. It's so similar to J. Jonah Jameson. So I hope he voices him. That'd be brilliant. So yeah, look forward to a new Mortal Kombat this year.
Well, there's one other thing. Is that as part of the Combat Pack DLC, there will be a Johnny Cage character skin with the likeness of Jean-Claude Van Damme. Doing dirty on Street Fighter, innit?
Yeah.
That man used to collect money, right?
Yeah.
But he's cracking on a bit now, isn't he? So, yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, that's a bit random, but there you go.
To be fair, I mean, if Arnold Schwarzenegger's been in already and Sylvester Stallone, it can only be natural that Mr. Kickboxer himself gets in.
Yeah, I guess so.
Any other news?
Yeah, so I talk about a bit of outrage.
Go on then. Love that. Love
There's
a bit
always
of outrage.
Well, no.
So there's been a bit of I mean, I don't play Overwatch myself, but there's been outrage about Overwatch 2.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
When isn't there?
So Overwatch 2 launched with, well, I think quite little fanfare, to be honest. And I think a lot of people were wondering what the point of it was, actually, weren't they?
Well, there wasn't much of a graphical upgrade from the original, and
No.
from
I think
what I recall,
they
a lot of
reduced
people,
the team numbers or something like that.
Yeah, people really didn't like it. We went from like 6v6 to 5v5, and people didn't understand why they did that.
Yeah. But one of the key additions was they planned, something that they could justify having the two after the name. They were going to include a PvE mode. So this was going to be a narrative-driven multiplayer experience where people could squad up and face AI enemies.
Yeah.
And you have your heroes, and they'll be able to have like progression trees and things like that, and skills you unlock and all that. It's been announced that's going to get scrapped now. They're just doing away with it. And inevitably, that just caused outrage to the Overwatch community. But now apparently it's just going to be like breadcrumbs of stories that's going to be put in with the, like the usual PvP updates throughout. And everyone's unhappy with it. Because basically it's just like, what was the point of even, again, this was the thing that was going to be the difference between Overwatch and Overwatch 2, and now they scrapped it. And everyone's like, why? Why have you done this? That was one of the few things that might have actually ended up getting me interested in Overwatch. But it's definitely not happening.
Not now.
Well, that's it. It's nice to have like a proving ground where you can kind of learn the mechanics without getting your arse kicked every 2 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But call me a cynic, but I just can't help but feel that this is just like a case of we can't find a way to monetize this, therefore we're cancelling it, sort of things.
Sounds very EA, to be honest. But...
Sounds very Activision Blizzard. But yeah, not good. And the internet is an uproar about it.
As it always is.
But even worse is that apparently they knew this was going to get canned towards the end of last year, and they still played off like it was going to happen because they wanted to get those sales in before they announced it.
Of course.
So underhanded tactics, which I shouldn't be surprised about, to be honest. But there you go. Poor form. Do better.
Makes you wonder who makes these decisions, because I feel a little sorry for like the dev team, because it's like I'm sure they just want to make like the best game possible and that they can, and it's all these stuff that's planned and the fans want to see, and then it's just like, oh well, gotta get rid of it now because probably don't have the resources enough to do what we said. Then they're getting quite a bit of backlash on Twitter. I think some probably, as you probably would expect, probably getting harassed.
Yeah, that's crap for them. Because it's not their fault. It's come from above, obviously, hasn't it? So all they do is what they're told, basically. If they need to work on a certain aspect of the game, that's what they do. So I don't think any hate should really be pushed at them.
But it always does, isn't it? Because they're the ones that are like the public-facing people on Twitter. Like even like a community manager probably gets abused for this kind of stuff. It's like, well, they've not decided this.
Just direct all your hate to Bobby Kotick.
I know, just provide his email. That's all we
yeah.
need.
Yep.
Maybe his phone number.
Yeah. Do you know who's close for business? Bobby is.
Yeah.
He needs to go. Whether this deal goes through Microsoft or not, he just needs to go.
Yeah. Second that. Right. So during the last podcast, we talked about a footballer called Erling Haalands and what his favourite video game might be. Because off the back of breaking the scoring record in the Premier League, He was asked what he was going to do after the game. He said he's going to chill out, have something to eat, and play video games. And when pressed, he said it'd be too embarrassing if he revealed the game. Well, subsequently, we have the answer.
Ooh.
So he posted a picture of himself playing Minecraft.
Minecraft?
Is that embarrassing?
No. Minecraft's a nice, relaxing game.
Yeah. I always enjoy a game of Minecraft too, every now and then. Like
Unless that's just not the game he was referring to.
Could have been. But it might be. Because
I still like the Barbie idea.
Which doesn't mean he was lying, though. It was like, it's too embarrassing to mention, and then he's just posted himself playing it.
Yeah, but maybe he's not lying. Maybe for him he feels it's embarrassing. Because
no, but he wouldn't have posted it then.
Well, that's
my point.
Yeah. If it was
maybe
that
he didn't
embarrassing,
realise,
yeah.
maybe he just forgot that he had that.
Oh, yeah.
Just taking a selfie. Yeah. But, yeah, it's quite a universal game into Minecraft. Like, all ages can play it. So maybe that's why he thought it might be a bit embarrassing. Because he might have a niece that plays it. He was like 6 years old.
No, I reckon he's got like a server setup with all the other like Man City players.
They've all got their own Minecraft server. They built a football pitch. And they're
all like, help me mine this cave. Help me with these creepers.
Dear me. I reckon Erling doesn't have like a pig pushing them into a volcano. I reckon he's really good at it. Like what happened to me. But less said about that. Yeah, I tried to kill this pig, and it ended up pushing me into a volcano instead.
Which sounds right.
That's what you get for trying to get that bacon.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I became the bacon.
Yep, that's it.
But yeah, now the age-old question is answered. Erling plays Minecraft.
So, would you like to know a recent game that's come out that seems to have broken quite a few launch records?
Ooh, wonder what that could be.
No.
No? Okay. Moving on.
Go on. I could probably make a guess though, but go on.
You'd probably make a guess. Well, there's a small, little, insignificant game that came out recently. I'm sure not too many people were interested in this. It's just a little game that was called Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
I might have vaguely heard of that one.
Very heard of it, yeah. It's a bit of a mouthful, to be fair.
Yeah.
Well, according to Nintendo themselves, Tears of the Kingdom has become the fastest selling game in the history of the Zelda franchise. With 3 days only gone, it sold 10 million units, which I was immediately then surprised that this has become the fastest selling Zelda game, basically. Like, it was, I think it was reported somewhere that 10 million is more than a lot of the previous Zelda games have sold in their whole lifetime. Which I'm like, what? You wouldn't think that was true for how, like, big Zelda is. I've not got any numbers on the other games which I'd sort of picked up, but I would love to see what those were. Yeah, just mind-boggling just how big Zelda is. Oh. And then Nathan comes in with the clutch of posting into the chat what those numbers are, if I can try and pull them up.
They're not in any order. So.
They're not in any order. They seem to be in series order, so I'll give them that.
Yeah, but 10 million seems to be like the second best sales out of any Zelda game. Obviously, it's not to Breath of the Wild
Breath
yet.
of the Wild.
Yeah. But there's some really low numbers in there.
At the moment, Breath of the Wild has just under 32 million. But that's all versions combined. It's like you look like the next best selling outside of Tears is like probably what? Ocarina maybe?
Ocarina of Time at 7.6 million.
Yeah, like 7.6.
Yeah, that's it.
No, sorry, Twilight Princess was next, 8.69 million. So, Twilight, you'd think something like Skyward Sword would have sold a lot being on the Wii, but only got 3.67. Like, really shocked that sold not too much.
I think that was more the kind of console the Wii was, though. It was more of a casual console, I think. But saying that, you've got to think the Zelda fans would have purchased it.
Still, it being a mainline Zelda game, you'd thought. Just big surprise, but this game's off to a rocket start. I can only imagine it'll probably surpass Breath of the Wild's numbers maybe shortly with the way it's going. But not just that as well. At least in the UK, Zelda became the biggest box launch game this year as well. Sold 54% more than what Hogwarts Legacy did, which was the next best selling game in the UK. Which just shows just how, I suppose, massive Zelda is still.
Yeah. I mean, people have been waiting for this for a long time. I think Hogwarts Legacy was a bit of an unknown quantity when it came out, and it did have a bit of a backlash, but I think that might have made certain people want to buy it more, like me, for example. But, yeah. So, it's certainly living up to the hype. Tears of the Kingdom.
Currently so. One other thing as well that I did get, that I'll just make a quick mention of, was, there's two publications. There's one in Japan called Famitsu that's been going for years, and we've got one in, I think, the UK, Edge. And apparently Tears became the 6th game to get both like a perfect score from both publications. Which is impressive, Can't sort of deny how big this game is. I'd tell you to guess the other ones, but at least 3 of them are other Zelda games.
Right. Is one the Ocarina of Time?
So yes, Ocarina of Time is one of them.
Right, okay. And the other one?
It's 2 other Zelda titles.
Oh, Breath of the Wild, other one.
Breath of the Wild, yes. There's one more.
Skyward Sword.
Correct. Which I'm a bit surprised by, actually, because I think it got quite panned by critics, to be fair, when it came out. From what I heard, anyway, like fan reception, it was like one of the weaker Zelda titles. There are 2 other games that are on there.
Was one a Metal Gear?
No, it was not.
I thought I read something.
Funnily enough.
Is it a Pokemon game?
It's not Pokemon. Can I give you a clue? Right, one of them is made by a Japanese developer. The other one is made by a British developer. British might give a clue. What do you think got perfect scores as soon as it came out from pretty much everyone?
Hogs of War.
Yes, Hogs of War. Perfect. I wish. That'd be amazing.
3?
4.
No. 5, yes.
Oh.
Perfect score. This is why I can't take this thing seriously. The thing is, I don't think any game deserves a perfect score.
The thing is, whenever I read sort of like a 5 out of 5 or like a 10 out of 10,
it's a bad metric there.
It is a bad metric, but it's also like, I never see it as like, okay, this is perfect, but it's as close as perfect as you're gonna get. Like, I don't think it's ever a perfect game. I'll put you in misery on the last game because I don't think you'll ever guess it. It was Bayonetta.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, perfect scores.
How?
Because it's a good game. What do you mean how?
It's good, but it's not perfect.
Well, it was, if it just, people bought it.
The only thing perfect about Bayonetta is her arse.
Oh, wow. Righty then. They did give a list of like other games that have gone like perfect in one, but just 1 point off the others, but I'll not spare you through those. So yeah, seems like Zelda is running wild at the moment.
I think the best metric is probably percentages.
Yeah.
I did used to collect the Game Master magazines, and they had percentages. I was quite like those.
Yeah.
But I think now I prefer like you either tell me if it's good or it's not.
Yeah, that's it. Is it good
That's
or bad?
all I want to know. Like,
Just give me the
I like-
pros and cons and let me make the decision.
I kind of like how I think Eurogamer did it. They give like if it's brilliant, it's like they give it like an essential. You need to play this. If it's good, it's like they recommend it. Anything else can be just nothing, or if it's like really bad, then they tell you to avoid it.
Yeah.
I'll finish off on a very quick piece of news that happened sort of while I was away, and actually might tempt me to now start playing a certain game that came out that I was put off due to certain things, shall we say. So Hogwarts Legacy recently got a patch for its time for due for when it comes out on the previous gen consoles as well. So it is coming out on PS4 and Xbox One series.
It's already out.
Yes. It was out while I was away though. But there was a particular
Correct.
thing there was a particular thing in the patch that might convince me to start playing the game now. Which is that they released a arachnophobia mode for it.
Oh, nice.
Hey.
That's good.
So apparently what this mode does is it turns all the spider enemies into like these like blocks of pink balls. They've got this like etched face on, and where their legs would be, they're removed with just like they're invisible, but at the bottom they'd be wearing like rollerblades. So they look a bit funny.
Right, can I make a serious point here? It's like I get the idea behind it and all that,
No.
but isn't it just a case of it's just breaking immersion? Is that why did they just replace it with another thing that's realistic but not a spider? Because then it just becomes like a comedy sideshow in the middle of a game.
I suppose so, but like how do you handle that? Because it's like
But I don't know. It just seems weird to me. It's just like instead of having arachnophobia else, just don't put the spider in to begin with.
The thing is, as you play the game, there's webs and stuff that you got to get through with your spells. So I guess you need them there in some capacity, and also you can pick up materials from them once you've killed them. So there's the crafting aspect as well. So there's a couple of reasons in there why I'd probably say to keep them in, but change them up a bit to.
Oh yeah,
I think what
it also does as well, it removes the webs in the game, and the noises that they make as well. But I think they've got like a monster encyclopedia, I think, within the game, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think they actually make any changes within there, so like the sketches or models of them are still sort of within there. But yeah, it's interesting to start seeing a lot more games starting to do this now. Like it seems to have like Grounded seems to be like the first one that really started to kick it off, like having like a proper arachnophobia mode in there. And like so many other games I've seen now like seem to have like a incorporated mode for it.
Well, I'm glad it wasn't there at launch because Lisa's cousin played Hogwarts Legacy, and she is crap scared of spiders, and just getting the videos of her screaming at the screen, telling the spiders to F off, was absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I'm glad I didn't lose that.
Yeah. If only it was around the time when I was playing Skyrim.
Just also inform you, just in case you weren't aware, there is also an arachnophobia mode in Jedi Survivor.
I've heard about this. You know what? I've not. Strangely enough, I've not seen any marketing for this game where I've seen those type of creatures. Like they were in it for Jedi Order, Fallen Order, I should say. So I'm interested to see like, did they bring these ones back, or are they slightly different? Because I know there's different variants of spider creatures within the Star Wars universe. Funnily enough, I was looking this up as well, very off topic. There's one game that's called, I think it's Shadows, I forgot what it's fully called. It's this like, almost like a sketched game that's on Nintendo Switch that you play that's got like an arachnophobia mode. But it's the first game that I've seen an arachnophilia mode, where instead of removing the spiders, you get more spider. I'm like, who sick enough would put that in the game? Why would I need more?
Some people might like them. Not many people, but still.
Some people just want to watch the world burn.
But not the spiders.
But no, yeah, they keep them safe. But yeah, this might tempt me to start playing Hogwarts Legacy. You never know.
Yeah. It's a cracking game. I'm sure you'll enjoy it if you do get around to it.
Well, I guess that's it for the news. Shall we move on to what we're currently playing?
Let's do it.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Matthew, you've not been here in a while. Why don't you kick us off? The floor is
Regale us
yours.
with a story.
The floor is mine. Right, well, just the 3 games on my list. So before I left on my jolly holidays, I did manage to play and complete Yakuza 6.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
So got that one out of the way.
Soon you'll run out of room to talk about.
Yep, eventually I will run out of Yakuza games, but there's still a couple to go. So, so I pretty much continued from chapter 5, and I mean, throughout the game, it's just your sort of typical twist on twist with a little twist of lemon as well to add to it. Twists galore. You switch between Kamurocho and Hiroshima within this game, continuing and finishing the story of Mr. Kazuma Kiryu. Or you would have finished the story had I not known what happens in Like a Dragon. But
Sorry.
that's you know. I'd already spoiled myself on that ages ago, so that's not to do that. So what can I really say about this game? Story-wise, I think it might actually be one of my favorite stories out of the entire series that I've played so far. I love all twists and turns that you go through with Kiryu, and so his reasoning of being in between some of Kamurocho and Hiroshima, getting in between sort of, the Tojo clan, what they're up to. They seem to have a bit of a, negative feelings for Kiryu for stuff that's been happening sort of in between this game and the 5th one. And then this other Yakuza family that's in Hiroshima as well, how sort of Kiryu gets involved with them, what their involvement is in his whole story, and sort of the relationships that he builds there and stuff. It's absolutely wonderful, honestly. I think towards the end there was a few scenes where I think I was properly like shed a tear or two. It was properly emotional following this one character's journey through, well, supposing game about 10-20 years now. So the amount that he's gone through and that he goes through as well. I will say there was a scene towards the end, just before probably like the final boss fight, that was a little brutal and kind of hard to watch. Just sort of the amount of hits that Kiryu takes. Seems like if this is like a real person, he'd probably be dead, honestly. Like, I mean, a lot of the stuff that happens in the Yakuza games anyway, you'd think Kiryu would be like a mass murderer at this point, to be honest. So, you can do like heat actions with like throwing people in microwaves and burning their face off. So I don't know how he's not murdered someone. But, canon to the games, he's actually never killed someone. So fair play to him. Gameplay wise, I've enjoyed this one. I do think the combat with this one being the first one in the Dragon Engine is a little clunky at times. Like, I think like unlocking his techniques and stuff, there's not much depth to it compared to sort of previous games in the entry like Zero and Kiwami, where you've got at least sort of 4 different fighting styles. You got 4 different sets of moves to sort of unlock. This is just like one straight move set, and there's not much to it really. Kind of your typical sort of block, dodge, parry, and that kind of stuff. So it was fine for what it was. Certainly wasn't as sort of clunky as something like 3 was, for sure. I also think, like, minigame wise as well, there's not as much to do in this game. I don't know if I sort of read a little sort of behind the scenes whether they got rushed a little bit so they couldn't do as much within this game compared to sort of previous ones or not. But I mean, what is in there is fairly solid. So I mean, I love my time in Kamurocho every time I sort of come to it, and this time was no exception to this one. One mini game that I did enjoy, that I liked, that Mark would appreciate because he spoke about it in a previous podcast, was that they had Virtual Fighter 5 in this. So I got to play a little bit of that. I will warn you, I don't know if this is for every Yakuza game that has Virtual Fighter 5 in it, but there seems to be a game-breaking bug whenever you play as the character Akira, I think it is, the Ryu-looking clone fella. If you play as him and you get to like I think it's the final round, it just broke my game. I didn't like it. I don't know why. I've tried to like research about it. I think it's something to do with this not the remastered version. Something's happened. I don't know whether like a patch has broke it or something, but I just saw people just advise sort of stay away from playing as that character. So if you do play that game in Yakuza 6 or any others that you find it, try and avoid playing as Akira. But yeah, no, I love this game. I think it's one of my favorite ones. Probably next to Zero, definitely in terms of story. Absolutely loved it, and definitely looking forward to sort of moving on and getting on sort of the new protagonist in 7 at some point, which I won't be talking about here because after this I did briefly move over to playing Judgement. As the next one that I'm going to play in the series. I don't want to quite get to 7. I'm kind of doing it in chronological release order. So I'm going to try Judgement next, which I've started. So Judgement, if you don't know what that one is, that is essentially a spin-off game from the Yakuza series. But it's got more of a detective vibe to it. You're not playing as the Yakuza in this one anymore. You end up playing as Takayuki Yagami, who's the main protagonist in this. So this so far, and I'm probably only like about an hour in it, so I'm not too far into it. But so far, the story in this one is Taka at the moment. It starts in 2015. And you are in his sort of like attorney offices. So you get to meet a few of the characters, and they start talking about this case that he represented someone in, Taka, that he successfully sort of cleared on any charges. And then you find out on this sort of TV broadcast news that the person that he's just cleared has now been arrested for murder of his girlfriend, which apparently like shakes Taka to his core. He's like, he didn't know what to do about this like news and stuff. Like, this guy that he's just cleared has now just murdered someone. Very quick time skip after this. It goes 3 years at all. We're in 2018 now. Back in Kamurocho, the place that we know pretty well by now. And Taka is now a private investigator. And early on in the game, he's got his friend who's an ex-Yakuza, tailing this other guy for suspected owing money, basically. And the game kind of kicks off where this sort of group of individuals bump into Taka, kind of stop him from his investigation, and basically want to start a fight with him. So you immediately go straight into fighting, which is like prime Yakuza, basically. So combat here is a little bit snappier and a bit more varied than what it was in 6. You've got 2 different fighting styles for Taka. You've got the crane style, which is used primarily for sort of group fighting. It's very focused on crowd management. And then you've got, I think it's called the Tiger style, which is focused on 1-to-1. I've not delved too much into it. That's just sort of the very basics on what they do. You do seem to move a little bit quicker in the crane style, because I think it's more about kind of dodging and sort of coming in, getting quick attacks in, and then sort of coming back out, parrying and stuff. Whereas like the Tiger one's solely focused on the kind of a little brawl kind of style. Once I'd finished that, then it moved me into this new mode they made for Judgement, which was tailing the suspect. So essentially what you do is you follow like the suspect on the streets of Kamurocho, and there's parts of the street that they've made where you can sort of hide behind like maybe like a dustbin, or you hide like a wall or like a sign or something, just so that they don't spot you. Like sometimes like the suspect will stop, maybe have a look around, and you're not meant to like get too close or anything, or you like obviously you then become suspected by the person, you like fail a mission basically. That's not too bad, being introduced to that. As soon as I got introduced to that, then I went straight into another new mode that used the first person to basically like inspect the scene. Basically, you're looking for like pieces of evidence that will match up to like the crime scene or the suspect and stuff. That wasn't too bad either. Sometimes you can pick out stuff that doesn't mean anything to the scene either. So you gotta like make sure what you've picked up right. And then I went straight into that. I went into a very quick sort of chase sequence, where in this one it's very much kind of on rails now. You don't have full control on where you kind of run. You can like run left and right and you can dodge certain obstacles that way. Else, if you do come to an obstacle, they give you like a quick time event now, so you have to like press the button, sort of successfully navigate it, or else you like hit and then you like slow down, then you have to try and sort of build that distance back up to who you're chasing. So they seem to have like changed a few things here and there for this game to be very specific to, I suppose, the Judgement series. Didn't get much further after that really. So at the moment it's fine. Kamurocho again looks probably the best it has currently, because this is further along in the Dragon Engine's like evolution. I suppose they've really worked on it quite well. So looking forward to do a little bit more to it. I do like some of the combat aspect where like when you're in the crane style, I should say, you can do stuff like jumping off the wall, and then like you can move into like a different combination, so that you can like jump off the wall, do like a kick to a guy, or you can like do like a grab and stuff. That seems quite interesting. They seem to incorporate quite a bit of parkour into this style. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see once I get more time with it. Like I said, I think I've only really spent about an hour at most, so I don't really know a great deal so far, but look forward to get back to it once I can. And then the last game, before I do talk about it, I do just want to slightly segue into, rather than what I've played, more kind of what have I bought, which might be a bit confusing at the moment, but I'll make things clear. Before I left, I did tell you guys I would have a surprise when I came back. Now I will say that I got a little jealous from Mark when at Christmas he ended up getting his Nintendo Switch OLED.
Oh, where's this going?
So you might remember there was mention of a special edition coming out around the time that game was coming out as well. I will just show you quickly on screen. I know you won't hear one on the podcast, but I did go and get myself the Tears of the Kingdom OLED edition. So I've joined the family. I've got an OLED now.
Nice. It's gorgeous. I love it.
I mean, first impression is I've been quite impressed with it, actually. Like image quality wise, I would like compared to the original Switch, it's very crisp. I'll give it that. Do you like the improved back
Kickstand.
rest kickstand? Yeah, so much better. Like other than that flimsy little thing on the Switch. But I really like the look of it when they showed it off, and I was just like, I think if I'm getting an OLED at any point, I think this is gonna have to be the point. So yeah, got this, and then obviously I've been playing Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom since I got back. I've not delved too much into it, only about 3 or 4 hours in. So far, I think I'm enjoying the story a lot more. I really like the introduction to it of like essentially start off in like the dungeons underneath Hyrule Castle with Zelda and Link. You know, you're looking into sort of like in the history of like the land and stuff and some of the people that were around sort of, you know, years prior. They go a little deeper and then end up getting stuck down there eventually. They end up finding sort of like a skeletal body, which they think it might be of our fellow Mr. Ganon or Ganondorf. But there's this swirling sort of red, blackish kind of light that's going on. It seems to be sort of weird. And basically, as soon as sort of Link and Zelda get anywhere near it, they essentially activate the body and it starts coming back to life. Link tries to fight it, but then he tries to fight with the Master Sword, but then the sword's energy gets absorbed by Ganon, which essentially starts bringing him back to life, and then pretty much destroys Link's right arm. It's a bit gruesome.
I like that the Master Sword gets destroyed and then it becomes more like the Master Dagger. And it's got like no energy left.
It's not even a dagger this one, is it? I do like they've done something different with the Master Sword, because it's always been like all the Zelda games is like the Master Sword is the thing that we need to beat the evil thing. Yes, must get it. But now it's like actually it's like worked in reverse. Now it's actually helps the bad guy. It's like, oh
yeah.
That's not good. Zelda falls down the chasm and suddenly disappears with a bright light. Link gets saved by a severed glowing hand randomly. And then he wakes up with this severed arm now attached to him, replacing his right arm. And it's apparently it belongs to an ancient character named Ryuru. I could get it wrong.
I thought it was Ryuru or something like that.
Something like that. One of those words.
That's sound dog speaking.
Raggy.
And then adventure pretty much starts from there. You know, you make your way out of where you kept, I think, in the what's it called? It's the Sky Island, I think it's called. The Great Sky Island. Sorry, I think that's what it's called. And then pretty much like kind of Breath of the Wild, you get pretty much thrust straight into it. No hand holding. Pretty much there you go. Now on with your adventure, basically.
Yeah, that's it. Here's some trousers in the chest. Off you go.
Yeah, pretty much. Can't have Link naked, obviously. So yeah, so you start going around this Great Sky Island. You need to pick up these abilities that power the hand, so you're able to then enter the Temple of Time. So, I mean, the first few abilities that you pick up, I think the first one was Ultra Hand, which is basically like a souped up version of the magnet power from Breath of the Wild. Basically, you can like pick up objects and then mold them next to each other if needed, and you can make all sorts of contraptions and platforms and stuff to help you navigate around the world, normally through these shrines that you start learning these abilities from. I think so far it's probably been the most useful ability that you pick up early on. Not sure what you think about Nathan if you've played it.
I'd agree, yeah. So far it's the most useful power up that I've got. I'm not very good with it yet. I mean, I am trying to
No,
build certain
yeah.
things, and it does take a little bit of getting used to with not
Yeah.
only finding out what to put together, but turning things as well. Because I'd struggled with getting things in the right placement. So I was
Yeah.
fusing stuff together, and then I'm having to break it apart again. So, and I had a few mishaps because I made a bridge, and then I brought the bridge with me, and I ended up fusing it to one of those, do you know, those like hover kind of metal hover things that you can use and move around to get onto certain objects.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
So I fused my bridge to it and I end up falling down. And I'm like, oh no, it's gone now. I'm like, oh crap, I'm never getting that back.
Oh dear.
And by accident, I've unfused something and like thrown myself off like into the abyss. That was funny. I've done
Ooh,
all
dear.
sorts of mishaps. I love what the community's been doing though. Just everything that they've been building.
Oh my goodness.
Some less than scrupulous things, but
I mean,
it's
come on, like the first thing you're gonna make is something that's got a dick. Let's be honest. It's the internet. I mean, some of the stuff I've seen has been like mind blowing. Like some like the mech stuff people have been making.
yeah.
Proper like war machines. Like I've seen like people make like aeroplane type contraptions where they've got like oil turrets on and they're just like firing down on the enemies. It's mental.
It's insane. Like them lasers, just like absolutely decimating.
Yeah. Bit suspicious to what they're doing to some Kuroks as well. It's a bit.
They are being sacrificed.
A little bit.
To put it lightly.
Yeah. So that was like, I think that was the first ability I came across. I think the next one was.
The next one I got
Fuse,
was Fuse.
I think it was. Yeah, I got Fuse. So this is where you can essentially fuse one or more weapons or items together. But normally you'd have one as a weapon, and then something else could be another weapon. Could be a rock. Could be mushroom. Anything really. And basically what it does, it helps with the durability of the weapon and also the attack power as well to a degree. So probably like the most mental thing that I've made fuse together so far was a pitchfork and a horse, sorry. And they're both like long stick things. So I made this like massive javelin basically. It was a bit mental. I've seen some weird combinations, like even like enemies confused as well. So they've got these I forgot what they're called, conscriptors, I think they might be called. I could be wrong. These new types of enemies that seem to be made from the Zonai technology.
Yeah.
And there's one particular enemy that can like fuse different things, which has been a bit annoying. It has been using. I've seen one use where he's using like a fire dragon thing that's been irritating to come across. So that's one thing. The other ability was the ascend one as well, which I don't know how useful that'll be. I could see in certain situations like being in like dungeons, if you want to get out quickly, just ascend, you'll go straight through. That's quite helpful, like getting a shortcut out of like long dungeons and stuff. So that's not been too bad. Or like I used one where you can get this like little almost like airplane kind of block that you can stand on to like drift down. I had one in the air, kind of through it, and then like ascended through it and like managed to stand on top of it, which was pretty cool. So
nice.
Found that kind of use. And then once you got all those, you go through the Temple of Time. You end up getting one more ability, which is the Recall, which essentially rewinds time. So any sort of objects, sort of movements they've been doing, you can sort of rewind, which has been useful for certain puzzles so far. And then pretty much once you've got those, you get to essentially ascend from Great Sky Island, and you end up landing in Hyrule, which is interesting. I should know, before that, your Master Sword gets nabbed by Zelda through weird means. I don't know what it means. I think I've got a theory. I feel like wherever Zelda is, I think is in a different time than what Link is. I don't know. That or probably a universe or something. You know what Zelda's like with parallel or alternate dimensions and stuff.
Yeah.
She's somewhere that Link isn't. But we'll see. You end up for me personally, I'm now in Hyrule. I've gone to the central town that's near Hyrule Castle. I managed to sort of help them a little bit and get my first piece of the map uncovered in central Hyrule. And then now I'm just right, here's these 4 cities that you need to help. Pick one and go for it, basically. So something similar to sort of Breath of the Wild, where it was kind of you can go to help the Gorons or the the Zoras or the Gerudos in any order you want. So I'm pretty much there at the moment. I mean, the scope of this game is incredible. I don't know how they've done it. Seeing some of the stuff that I've already seen online, it's a lot of people are already saying it. I think it's a closed shop for Game of the Year already. Don't know how truthful that is. There is some solid games that are already out this year that would probably contend that. But yeah, I mean, so far enjoying my time and time with it. Gonna see where it goes. Like I said, I've not to put too much hours in. I do find that I feel like this game was harder than Breath of the Wild. I don't know. I seem to be getting killed a lot more than I recall being in Breath of the Wild.
I'm getting killed more, but that's more because of my own stupidity than anything else.
I didn't want to say that, but I seem to be I'm probably taking on enemies that I probably shouldn't be doing too early on, the stone creatures, the massive stone creatures that threw their hands at you and stuff.
Yeah.
I can't seem to remember what I did in Breath of the Wild to kill them. I was I'm pretty sure I used the bomb, but we don't have that ability now. So what do I do? I keep on trying to combine bombs with my arrows and using them, but they don't seem to be taking any damage. So I'm at a loss of what I should be doing on those. I'll find out eventually. Probably.
Yeah, maybe there's just a different combination you need to use.
Yeah.
But I've not taken one of them down yet, so I don't know myself.
No, I've not done it. I'll need to see if I can find out. The only other thing that I've also done in this game that I'll mention is not only have they've extended sort of above Hyrule as well, but they've also extended below it as well. So they've got these points in Hyrule that are called the depths that you can dive into, and they're pretty much a whole other massive map underneath Hyrule. I don't know how they've managed to expand Hyrule this much and put this so much into this game already. That I've found is a bit daunting a little bit actually. I'm a bit I don't know what I should be doing at any one moment. Should I be doing this or should I be doing that? But then I'll just go over and just wander and want to do my own thing, find the shrines and start getting my heart's up and stamina and stuff. But no, I can't wait to dive more into this game, honestly. So that's what I've been playing then. How about you, Nathan? What have you been playing?
Yeah. So I've been playing. Well, this was the game that I played directly after the last podcast. Now, I don't know why, but I thought to myself, I want to play something a bit different. Now, this is a game that I bought a few months ago, and I bought it due to its controversy. So I'll put you out of your misery. It's Martha is Dead. Now, it's not normally a type of game that I'd go and play because obviously there's horror aspects there. But I bought it for the controversy because there's a couple of scenes in particular. The first one is you rip the face off of somebody and put it on. So there's that aspect that's pretty gory. You do get to choose if you want to skip these particular bits. I didn't.
I don't think you would have skipped them.
And there's a second bit which is a lot worse, where you basically rip the fetus out of a dead body with scissors. I did not skip that either. So, but anyway, just want to lay it out there. We'll get the worst out of the way, and then we'll get on to the good. So, yeah, honestly, it's absolutely amazing. This mind boggled me so much, but I loved it. Honestly, if I could wipe my mind and play it again, I would. It's amazing.
Wow.
But anyway, Just a little bit about the game itself. So you play as a girl called Julia, and she's got a twin sister called Martha. It's set in 1944 in German-occupied Italy, and your dad is like a German commander, your mum's Italian, thus why you're in Italy. Now, Julia, who you play as, she's an avid photographer, and that plays into the game. But Julia goes to the lake to kind of have a look at what pictures have been taken, and she finds a dead body in the lake. Now, upon closer inspection, she finds that it's her sister Martha. She's deaf, but that'll play into the story a bit later. And basically, she gets her sister's body out of the water. Her parents come over to her, and basically they say, "Martha, are you okay?" And she doesn't say anything. So they assume that she is her sister, so she assumes the identity of her dead sister because she was always the favourite sister. So basically, from that, you have to try and figure out who killed Martha. So it's a walking simulator. So you have to kind of go around, get evidence, and there's puzzle elements to it. You've got to take pictures as well. And this is quite interesting, but you can use certain films and certain overlays to get certain pictures, to get like information. And there's a whole process of you developing the pictures as well, which is quite interesting. And because it's in the 40s, you basically got to pick up this film, take the picture, and then there's a dark room in the house that you use to develop the pictures, which is quite good. It's heavily story driven, so I just want to try and get away from anything too much in the story because I do think it's worth playing. I mean, it took me about 6 or 7 hours to complete. I did it in a day. I started at about 12 o'clock in the afternoon, finished at about 7 o'clock at night. Honestly, I just loved it so much. It gripped me early on, and it was absolutely fantastic. I'm not one for anything horror, and to be honest, there are horror elements. There are a couple of jump scares, but it was absolutely fantastic. And by the end, your mind will be broken because you don't know what's going on or you don't know what's real anymore. Because before you start it, there are like screens that come up about like mental health and who you can contact, because it's very mental health driven, and you'll find that as you go through the game, certain things that you thought are real are not, and you'll find yourself at the very end questioning everything that you've done leading up to this point. And after I finished playing it, I must have probably watched about 5 or 6 separate reviews just to try and piece together, from my perspective, what I'd actually played. But the time period is absolutely like fantastic in terms of like the setting. The characters are gripping. It's absolutely fantastic. But yeah, it might be even one that you'd like, Mark, to be honest, because I know you don't like horror that much, but there's not too much in terms of horror aspect to it. But if you are saying that, if you're a bit squeamish or don't like gore, then it might not be one for you. But
I'm not squeamish.
Yeah, it might be okay.
I can deal with that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I will say, originally when I started playing it, it was in Italian, because you're in Italy, so it was all voiced in Italian. And I found myself like, I don't really want to read these subtitles. So eventually I managed to get into the settings and switch it to English, that I was so thankful for, because the subtitles, you can't pause it. And I'm not a very fast reader, to be honest. So it was going a bit too quick. So I was missing little portions of the story, but eventually managed to get that sorted. But yeah, fantastic game. To be honest, I thought I might try and platinum it, but I'm a couple of trophies away from doing it, so I think I might need another extra hour and a half to do that. But yeah, I'm going to get onto it. But subsequently, after playing that, I found out there was kind of a prequel to it called The Town of Light, and that was the story about Julia's mum in a mental institution. So there's kind of a bit of a tie on there. But yeah, I bought that, and I've not played it yet, but I want to get Martha is Dead platinumed, and then I can move on to that. But it's absolutely astounding. Cannot recommend it enough.
Big words.
I didn't even realise that I'd like it that much because it's been on the pile for that long, and I don't know what made me want to play it. But I just thought, yeah, let's just give it a go. So, yeah. The next game that I played, obviously, me and Matt have spoken briefly about Tears of the Kingdom. So I myself have only played a couple of hours of that, done a couple of shrines. So I've got 2 of the powers so far. So I've got the Ultra Hand and the Fuse. So I've not got the last one just yet. But personally, from what I've experienced of it, it's good. Worthy successor to Breath of the Wild so far. Enjoying the story, the gameplay. Trying to be a bit more creative with what I'm building. So I've done a couple of boats. Saying that, I tried to get across this expanse of water, and I got one of my boats stuck. So I had to effectively kill myself and then get back to shore so I could build another boat. But I didn't have enough fans, so it was pretty much just like a one log with a fan at the back, and I kept falling into the water a few times, but we got there in the end. So, but yeah, anyway, I'm going to call it Breath of the Wild then. Tears of the Kingdom, yeah, only a couple of hours in on that one, but enjoying it so far. I probably will need your help at some point, Matt, but I'll give you a shout if I get onto any bosses that I can't beat.
No, I'm sure.
Because I had to get Matt to beat Ganon for me in Breath of the Wild. I couldn't do it myself.
That's completed for him.
It's not without trying. I must have tried to beat him about 20
Try
times.
harder then.
I did.
Get good.
And I gave up and gave it to Matt. I don't need to get good. Matt's good enough for the both of us.
He's not wrong.
Saying that, I beat Ganon because Matt did phase 1, I did phase 2, the easy bit. So I did my part.
I say you did like the easy fight. I had to go through in the bloody difficult one.
But yeah, that's short but sweet from me. But that's what I've been playing. What about you, Mark?
Okay, so I've been playing Coffee Talk Episode 2, Hibiscus and Butterfly.
Ooh, what a name.
So a couple of years ago, I played Coffee Talk, the first one, which I really enjoyed. This pretty much plays exactly the same, really. But so this is a visual novel game where you play as the barista of a coffee shop called Coffee Talk in the city of Seattle. And the world is rather unique in that the fact that it's populated by various mythical creatures of folklore who coexist with humanity. And this coffee shop is only open at night. And over the course of 15 nights, you are visited by a number of customers of various races and species. And whilst they're there, basically you converse with them and with each other about the trials and tribulations of their daily lives. And in the middle of all this, occasionally you will be asked to make them a drink because you're a coffee shop. So you play like a simple mini game where you try and make them the correct drink based on what they suggest to you. So they might tell you exactly what they want, and you just put those ingredients together. But mostly they will sort of like give you hints as to what they want, and you just have to try and use your skill and knowledge to try and make them the correct drink. So they might say, "Oh, I want something coffee based, but with some spice and something a bit zesty with it." And then based off that information, you create what you can. So you've got the base of your drinks. So you've got your coffee, your tea, your green tea, your chocolate, your milk, and then of course the new ones, the hibiscus and butterfly pea, which is also known as blue pea.
Pea?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I assume
that's what the man said.
Yeah. Blue pea. Is it pea? I don't know. Look it up. But then you also like add 2 other ingredients on top of that base. So you've got ginger, mint, lemon, honey, and cinnamon. Also, you've got like an in-game phone. So there's a Facebook rip-off on it called Tomato Chill, which I think is a really weird name, but that's what they've gone with. And you can add your customers on there. So if you give your customers the correct drinks, you become better friends with them on Tomato Chill, and it reveals more information about them. It's also got a thing called the brew pad. So that's basically a recipe list of all the drinks. But the drinks only appear once you've made them. So it's kind of like part of the challenge is trying to unlock all the drinks in the brew pad. There's also a newspaper on there, so it's like full of like journalist blog entries that gives you a wider scope of the lore in the game. And then there's a music player, so it just allows you to change like the background music in the shop. And it's all very low-key, soothing stuff. Now there's a new gameplay feature in this. So in the first game, that's exactly how it was. People come in, tell you stories, you listen, you join in, you make drinks. That's it. But now there's an extra little thing where they do where under your counter, you have now got a drawer. And this kind of reminded me a bit of Papers, Please. We have a little drawer, and then occasionally somebody might accidentally leave something behind in the shop, or they might purposely give you something to then pass on to another person. And it becomes a bit of a memory game, of like between each night, remembering to give them something or to give them back their thing. Outside of the story, they've got the two modes that returned from the previous game. So you got a challenge mode. So this is a quick fire timed mode where customers will request a drink and you've just got to make it, and then making the drink as extra time. And then the aim is to make as many drinks before the time expires. And then of course you've got free brew. So that's just like as the name suggests, it's a nice relaxed experience where you can just make drinks to your heart content, and you can just freestyle, make whatever you want, and just experiment. You might even get, inspiration for real life drinks you might want to make. In terms of the characters, you've got some returning characters from the first game, but you've got a couple of new ones. Now, I have to say, the first one that I met was a guy called Lucas. Not a big fan of him, because he described himself as a social media influencer.
Your favourite people.
I wanted to serve him a steaming cup of vomit, but alas, the game would not let me. But yeah, I really liked it. I really liked the first game. I like my slice of life kind of stuff. It's a cozy game. Mm-hmm. So, but really liked that. But I played one other thing as well, and that is the Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores DLC.
I totally forgot that came out.
So, firstly, in order to play this DLC, you have to have completed the main story from Forbidden West. Otherwise, it just won't trigger. So, briefly, you meet up with Silence, and he gives you information about one of the Zeniths potentially up to no good in the area known as the Burning Shores, which is obviously Los Angeles in the old world. So Aloy goes to Hollywood to uncover their plot. And upon arriving, she has a bit of an accident and meets a woman called Seika, and is a member of the Quen tribe. And the Quen are a bit in disarray because as they were travelling across the sea, they were hit by a storm and they ended up getting split up. And basically, Seika wants to go out and try and find the rest of the Quen, but her tribe is very reluctant to let her do so. And that's until Aloy comes along, and they reluctantly allow her to do it. And the story goes from there. So throughout the majority of the DLC, you actually have Seika as a companion, which is quite unique. So she's for pretty much most of, if not all, the story missions, she's assisting you along the way. And as with the main game, looks beautiful. I mean, it really is gorgeous. I mean, but Forbidden West was actually gorgeous, but it's like the colour and the vibrancy of it. The design of the Burning Shores itself, I really liked because it's a bit unique compared to all the other ones, is that it's made up of separate islands. That's what the Burning Shores are. It's a bunch of different islands put together. And each island is quite dense and got a lot of verticality to it. But it means this is the first Horizon I've seen where there's no tall necks. Don't have any of them in this, unfortunately.
That's a shame.
Yeah. But of course you have the Sun Wing, your flying thing that you have. So that's probably your best mode of transport to get around. But there's a pretty cool upgrade to that, which I won't say, but it's pretty cool. And And then there's one part of the story which takes you to a location which will give you vibes of a famous 90s film, which I have to say I really enjoyed. A couple of new features. You've got a few new machines, obviously, that you would expect. I'll tell you the most annoying one that I've come across, and that is one called the Bile Gut, which is a big fat toad machine that spits bile at you. And any fight,
nice.
any fight I had with this thing, it just ended up spitting green gunk at me, and in the middle of the fight, the entire screen would just go green. I could barely see what was even going on. There's a few new collectible things as well. So you have figurines that you collect. I think there's 5 figurines that you can go and collect, and then once you've found them, you go and use them for a puzzle somewhere. And then we've got a new thing called aerial captures. So dotted around, you will find these audio recordings, and in order to listen to them, once you've discovered the actual recording bit, it sets off a beacon that locates somewhere in the sky, and you have to fly there, set the beacon off, and you have to fly a flight path on your sunwing, and along the way you collect other audio recordings and you listen to them as you fly. And then at the end, you unlock like an image of the old world, so like the vista points from the main game. Basically, that's how each one of those ends, with one of those images. There's also a new cauldron in there, which is pretty good. If you like those sorts of puzzles, all that. But in conclusion, there are a couple of plot threads that occur that pretty much confirm there's going to be Horizon 3. And these things will probably be further explored in it. But one thing about it, this DLC, is that it's bookended with silence. So you start chatting with silence at the beginning, and then it ends with you chatting with silence as well. And without going into too much detail, from that final conversation, it seems silence still very much has a significant role in the game in the future. So it does make me wonder how they're going to resolve that, with the sad passing of Lance Reddick. Yeah. But overall, it's very enjoyable, if not massively long. I mean, the story's probably going to take you about 6-7 hours. But if you do the other stuff, it could take you a few more, maybe 12-ish, something like that. I've not done quite everything yet, but I plan to. But it does seem to be bridging the gap between 2 and Future 3. So if you want another full story, I would highly recommend you to play it. And I think you can pick it up for, I think I picked it up for like 15, 16 quid, I think it was. So it's not too bad. But no, it's really good. I really liked it. And that's all I've been playing. Well, there you go then. That's what we're currently been playing. If you enjoyed listening to us, please consider tuning in next time. We release bi-weekly on Tuesdays. You can visit our website at jokingdolphin.com, where we post the Hall of Fame. Also, feel free to follow us on all social media platforms to continue the conversation. You can find Joking Dolphin on YouTube and Facebook, as well as on Instagram and Twitter at Joking Dolphin. Until next time, thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Ta-ra.
Goodbye.